A survival game with dinosaurs, including taming them, is an interesting concept. But I think our Arks survival evolved executed it isn't the best way. Okay, maybe the taming part is soon, but surrounding features could have been better. Mainly the inventory system, but more about it later in the video. And yeah, as I understand, I played this game after an update or more, which made the game worse, because to push players towards the new game, which is in early access at the time of reading the script. Sure, I get the game for free, only the base game, not counting the spin-off game, when it was free to keep on Steam. But I couldn't play it because it probably wouldn't run, or at least wouldn't run smoothly on the old laptop, and it also takes a lot of storage, so only now I was able to play it. Which still takes a decent chunk of storage, and there are long loading times, but more about them later. Well, these are some of the reasons why not to keep playing the game, at least for me. Well, before getting this game for free, I tried watching Let's Plays, but I guess I didn't see the dinosaur taming feature, then I didn't watch them. While playing this game, I stumbled upon mods being recommended for better experience, but I didn't ask much, because it wouldn't be an accurate review about the game. Arks Survival Evolved was developed and published by Study Valgard. Well, later, as I understand, Snellskins broke the Study Valgard company or something like that. So now also counted as also now Snellskins counts as publisher, I guess. For computers, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, iOS and Android. Also for Google Stadia, but because it's a game streaming platform, Stadia is out of service nowadays. So you can't play Ark on it. And it is story. It is set locations called Arks, and they are called story arcs. And also there are custom set arcs. Because the arcs are DLC content, more about it later in the video. I only can share the Iceland premise. I only can share the island's premise. And it's just finding some female, which might be robot or a female, or maybe a man female. And there are lore items to find. I only found fun. Well, this game focuses on multiplayer, but I couldn't rate it while also seeing other players on the server nearby. I only managed to get into fun server, but I couldn't see civilizations, and I also was killed a lot on that server. Well, I had less options, because this game is kernel level anti-cheat called Battle A. The game can be played without this anti-cheat being installed. Also because of a long wait, I didn't try going on a different server. That's at least before spreading the script. Well, after I wrote the first draft of the script, I tried going to a different server, in which I noticed other player activities. Mostly activity tests, but I also saw that disconnected players are shown that they are sleeping. Plus, there is text that is unreadable. Like there's a missing font from server or what. So then I place a single player which is deep in menus. Okay, maybe not really deep, but you need to have multiple menus accesses. Also playing in a single player was to learn how to play the game. With it I left the settings on default. And with it I found out this game is an RPG leveling system, and crafting recipes are locked behind it. Like when leveling up, you get a skill point, and points to unlock crafting recipes, which are called engrams by this game. From one side, you can see leveling up as a character learning recipes, but from other side, it doesn't work for basic stuff. So that's one of the reasons why the game is great, but even with the leveling up system, you will do more or less the same thing. Well, maybe at least a little bit faster. Like you get experience from doing anything, plus there is passive experience gain. And it isn't just you for levels, but every creature, which is counted as Dinos by this game, has levels. So also your team Dino can level up, and with that you can increase one star per level for the Dino. Now about survival mechanisms or features and stuff surrounding it. Of course there is resource gathering, health and anchor. Building, but that's not all. Like for character, there is also this eat or temperature, like either being cold or hot, and weight mechanisms. If the character is thirsty, then you need a drink, for which ocean water can be drunk, and there are no side effects from it. Heat or temperature, the character can get cold or hot, and I guess it's on a scale. However, I think even lower levels of each temperature change happens so fast, like after being cold, immediately it changes to being hot. And weight is for inventory. It limits how many items you can have in the inventory. If you are close to the limit, then you become slower, and if weight is at the limit or more, then you can't move. About resource. I'll start with food and then resource collecting. Food can spoil. Bodies pay food if it becomes spoil or just disappears, and only one item per stack at the time can spoil. There are two ways to collect resource. Just collecting by taking resource, or really just eating the object for resource. For the latter, for example, if you just eat a tree, you can get touch and food. And if there is resource collecting, then of course there is crafting. Like I mentioned before about engrams, which is just showing what resources are needed and how many of them are needed, and which crafting stations is needed, and waiting when crafting finish. However, you need to have resource in the inventory from which you want to craft. Like if you want craft from character crafting menu, then you can't use resource from storage even if you have opened the storage. In all of these cases, items goes to the inventory automatically. Well, when crafting, it goes to the inventory from which you are crafting. However, there are clutter objects from which you can't get resources, like there is no indication which object can be interacted with to obtain the resource, like there are objects on the ground or something like that, which you can't interact with. About building, it just owns preset items like foundations, walls, floors, ceilings, rails, and other stuff, which of course are locked behind the leveling up system. A little bit about items. At first I had trouble placing items in the hotbar. Like I tried tracking items to the hotbar, but at first it didn't work. Somehow I managed to make it work later. And even when placing items in The up part, only some items can be held inside. When pressing the up part locked number, it will do the default action of the item. For example, I have got meat on 7th slot. When pressing 7th key on the keyboard, I will eat the food, not hold it in the end. I draw the surviving part at more or less the same logic as reality, able to hold any items in the end, but that isn't the case for the game. If you want to tame a dino, then you need to interact with the menu. Well, that is at least for one type of taming, which is done by knocking out the dino unconscious and keeping them unconscious, while also feeding them their food by placing the food in the inventory and pressing the mouse key while mouse is over the food or the food is selected to feed the dino. You can't use food from your inventory. You need to transfer food to the dino inventory first, at least for this taming method. For the second taming method, you don't need to make the dino unconscious, just by feeding the dino. If you can't add food in your end, then how can you feed the dino? Good question. It's by having food in the inventory. Well, more specifically, in the last parcel. That's for most dinos. There are some dinos for which food can be anywhere in the inventory. And for some, just dragging a dead body nearby. However, the latter taming method doesn't work on all dinos. Only some. A rogue will be able to tame dinos with the second method, but I was able to do it only with the first method, after reading the tutorial from in-game, just test tutorial and watching a taming tutorial video on YouTube. That's how I found that for most dinos for the second taming method, you need to have food in the last upper slot, and at least for one dino, space is tracking a dead body nearby. Now about set location scaled arcs. Mainly problems with it, or at least all of the presented, or lack of the presentations for them. Arcs are split into two categories, story arcs and custom arcs, and under custom arcs, you can randomly generate your own arc. However, the character progress, like levels and unlocked engrams, is locked to the specific arc, unless you transfer the character to a different arc, but that means you lose the character on the previous arc. Or just manually transfer your character every time you are switching arcs, which may be at least tedious, especially if your character uploader is far away from your base. Otherwise, it is just creating a new character, using character creator, which is just sliders and color selections, and starting level progress from the very beginning. Now the DLC problem. There is no in-game indications that the specific arc is DLC. The only indication that it is a DLC is after you trade playing that arc, which opens a Steam overlay to the DLC store page. Of course, that is if you are playing on Steam. For other platforms, similar stuff might happen. Like what? Was a reason not to communicate the specific arc is the DLC from in-game. Other says to trick players it is in the base game. It is a base game arc. Only out is meant to trick the player when it opens a store page. Those DLC. For which the player should see it as a price tag. From fan side, it seems to be a way to make money from players, but on the other end, in the last step, it shows it is paid DLC. Either way, there should be indications that it is DLC arc before opening the store page. and whatever platforms the player plays on. Oh wait, this is free DLC arcs, so then you can distinguish which is free arc or paid arc DLC before clicking on them. And with that, if I want to install all DLCs arc, then I couldn't. Like from what I hear, the game takes more space with all arcs DLC. Because of Windows 11 bloat, the game with all Arc DLCs wouldn't fit in 1 TB SSD. Or even without Windows 11 bloat, the game with all Arc DLC wouldn't fit in SSD. Well, for later, maybe a little storage space will be left if the game without the Arc DLC would fit. But it wouldn't be much left. Anyway, sorry about the tangent. Back to the video. This is some creatures, like some artificial things happening nearby models which I can't explain. And when I'm tapping on the loading script, the previous game frame appears frozen, and it takes a while to change to a different software. I first encountered with it when changing the resolutions to full screen, and with that the game will be on top of other software. It takes a while to load the game. I guess it is only with the first loading, only per section. Other opening the game, you need to wait for the same loading screen. And starting either Arks, either single player or multiplayer, or even just opening Engrams menu in OS controls. Even though it counts as survival game, this game is supply crates which randomly appears on Ark. Well, it is an option if they appear or not, but them appearing is a default setting. Actually, I checked the option. That is the lower box option, and disabling it, there still would be supply crates. Well, at least some supply crates. And of course they are level locked, which just gives you a treasure. Dinos can't spawn kill you even if you randomly respawn. Speaking of which, either when you're spawned in or respawned, your inventory is filled with items. I guess those are cosmetic items, but at least some items take me out of the game. Like those items inclusion are imagine break. Like those items are for past events which happen outside of the game. So every time I add in inventory, I drop them. Speaking of items, some dinos can steal your items. There is a minimap as a page in a journey book or something like that, but it isn't it's an item in the inventory, and it is always on you even after you respawn. Sure, the game graphics are beautiful, but it isn't the only reason to play the game. Maybe if it wouldn't take a lot of space, or hold extra space, like even just extra terabyte SSD, then I would continue playing the game. Now I wonder if I can add extra SSD to my laptop, which isn't an external SSD, which will take an USB slot, then I will need to USB extender or something like that, and then I will worry about that corruption because of stuff happening with the USB cord or cords. And now, with my internet speed and or with it not being consistent, playing this game using cloud gaming service wouldn't work. I thought the game was more expensive and it would not be recommended for full price, whatever I thought. But with the correct price, Maybe I can recommend the game. Then again with DLC Arks not being communicated being as DLC Arks, then maybe it is not recommended. Of course, if it will be a lot more cheaper or even free than 100%, I will be able to recommend this game. So I guess I'm recommending this game to you to get it on a sale with a big discount. Either way, you can try it for yourself, hopefully when getting it for cheaper, to see if you like the game or not. And of course it will be more fun with friends or even with other players. But that applies for almost all games, or all games that have multiplayer options. And again, if I add extra, what the fuck, what's that? And again, if I add extra storage, then I could keep playing it. But with the current options, I don't think I'll keep the game installed. Actually, maybe even with extra storage, I will not continue playing it. Because middle of making this video, I rage quit the original save. Because my dinosaur was killed. But before the rage quit, I used admin comments to see what those are. So yeah, then maybe I not recommend this game. Even with that, I still recommended Alicia to try it. This game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like the video, subscribe and comment. See you next time.